Okay, motion to
Minutes?
accept the minutes?
Seconded.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, so you started with the discussion of the uprighting of stones that you're continuing on.
Yep, we worked on it. We keep working on it on all the warm during. Can't do, jack during the cold, but during
Yeah.
the winter. But during the warm months, we get out there.
David, are you missing any of your clamps?
Yeah, a handful. I forgot them on a stone over the winter, so they're probably not useful anymore.
I know I saw a few well, at least two in the garage down there. I'll get those to you, if not more. That was like, what are they doing in here? Well, maybe they picked them up when they were mowing or whatever. But
Yeah, we try to clean it all up, but occasionally you miss a thing that
Oh,
falls
yeah.
down.
No, I know. Yeah.
But we've had luck using his
Tombstone jack.
big hydraulic tombstone jack to get things to get the really
One that
big.
you wheel around?
No,
It has to
Another
be
one?
assembled on site.
and then
Oh,
it's
oh, is that right?
it's like corner jacks for the whole thing. And,
Oh, really?
And you just
Yeah, it's a specialized tombstone jack. I paid, I don't know, $2,500 for it. And it makes it possible for me to level a 5-ton monument without raising too much of the swag. So,
Wow.
Excellent.
So is it just the two of you working on these stones?
Yeah.
Yes, we have
That's
a
why it's
few
going so slow.
volunteers sometimes, but generally speaking, it's just us.
Yeah, the volunteers are usually like older ladies who are willing to sit in the ground with a trowel. They're not.
It is
try
valuable
hard.
effort, but it is not, they're not picking up stones.
And that's okay. That's okay.
They have not had training for that.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say was, his name was John. He was from Connecticut, the guy that did
Yeah.
did you see him travel? He's traveled around the country.
Yeah, he's really good. He's really something. He trains civic groups to do.
Does classes for uprighting a stone.
He's the one that trained you
Yeah,
guys?
Yes.
You pay him to come up and he'll do a whole weekend training for how to take care of a cemetery to like current laws
Yeah.
or current regulations on what's
So it'll be
acceptable.
accepted for
Yeah,
the national level.
yeah.
So that's what he does. Now he's traveling around. Usually, I mean, he was traveling before. Now he's got a program on TV.
Yeah, he's
Wow.
all over the place now.
And do you see his wrapped car?
Yeah.
With that's,
Yeah.
He was he's very nice. He's
Yes,
good.
he was
So
very-
and I was glad that we were able to get him.
Yeah, back when he was cheaper.
Yeah.
He was very nice, and he was also an excellent instructor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
really worth doing. Really
Yep.
worth doing
That's good.
to learn how to do that properly.
So we all got kind of certified. We didn't get a certificate, but
There
we're
is
set.
no legal certification, but we're now apprentice trained.
Right.
So, so
Oh, that's good.
So you worked in Warren, and where else did you say?
Warren, Parrish, and Roebline.
We've also done
That's
some,
since the snow melted.
I think. That was pretty much just putting a lot of enzymatic cleaner. When you drive past it now, you can still see that all the stones are white instead of gray.
In where?
On Oldfieldville Road? No, the road to
Oh, is it
No.
Pine Grove?
yeah,
Pine Grove.
I'm not sure. I don't actually know the
Pine
names.
Grove's, I think, up there. Yeah.
Pine Grove's on Barry Road.
Okay.
I don't think that's the one. Then.
New Westminster has Clark.
Yeah, the one that's.
There's one on Gardner Road,
I think it's
Lovewell.
Clark.
Is it Clark?
I think so. I mean, the sign for that one is fairly.
Okay,
deceased.
this was the one without the sign yet, with the mostly dead sign.
Mhm.
Okay. Anyway, we've been slowly creaking along, bit by bit.
Okay.
It's going to be, it's a life's work kind of.
Oh, I know.
kind of
No,
deal.
no, I don't, you can't
It had
expect
been
no.
so neglected for so long. So
No. All right, so that's good. So, the one with the stones, in the last month, I got 3 complaints of stones being clipped, flat markers, from the mowers.
well, that's not us.
Yeah, no, it's not us.
What can we do?
I would like to have a letter drafted where we can send it to DPW and the town administrator.
Mhm.
Because speaking with Travis goes in one ear and out the other, obviously, and they have to know that from here on out, if I get any more complaints, they're gonna stop paying for them, because I have people that are kind of on the fence about having them replaced, would like them fixed, which I've agreed to reset that and put them deeper. I had nothing to do with putting them in, I had to explain that to them, but one of them in particular is, in Brookside, is sunk down and came up. I don't walk the cemetery as much as I used to.
Is this
when I
the
was
whole
looking for-
stone, or
It's
just
the flat
ones?
markers.
Oh, the
They-
flat
they
marker,
can- They
the
can
little-
be,
the little, right, yeah, those
Yeah.
guys. Well, we can,
one of them's no bigger than my notebook.
yeah.
There's one that's a regular, like a military marker size, which would be 2 feet by 1 foot.
We can always re-level.
But they can be
Set them
reset,
down.
but the problem is, as I mowed and I know how the mowers work,
If the mower's hidden.
the mowers we have, if you wanna drive over the stones that are sticking up a little bit, and you're not sure, rule of thumb is you step on the pedal, the mower deck comes up. When you pass, you let it back down. Obviously, they're not doing that. I know how the mowers work. If you're really skeptical, it was always been policy, go around. But I've said time and time again, I've got it marked down. Number 3.
Because they yell at us when this happens, yes.
I have a
Well, I'm the
question.
one that gets the phone call.
Yeah, right.
Should we be kind of pushing to get those leveled and lowered? There's a fair number of those stones. I've mostly been trying to address the stuff that is at risk, but if the mower is destroying them, clearly they are also at risk.
They need to, yes, slowly, I've already reset, I don't know, 3 from before, previous years. When I was mowing, then I noticed that they were coming up. So yes, they do come up, they don't have a cement 36 inches down concrete base,
Right.
but mowers running over the edge, I'm sure can puck them up and down, and the frost, of course.
Yeah.
But
Well, I'm for a letter.
the people that are mowing, right now the DPW is in direction of mowing and responsible for that. They're gonna have to take responsibility to repair it. If somebody wants to repair them, it's not coming out of my budget. It can come out of his.
Is there any way to find a not unattractive, like, stick to put up? Like a not unattractive,
Marker to
like
mark them.
like a foot tall, thin thing to mark them, just so that the mower knows that's where it is.
We could
Like
do that.
Two little
We could.
doohickeys that had, I don't know, that didn't look
Then
too
they can't
ugly.
mow over it all.
Yeah.
How would they do that?
Well,
This is a
let's put it this way, when the fence came down in front of Rural Glen, I had a couple, I think I had 1 or 2 wooden dowels pounded in the ground and then wired around because the uprights were rotted out at the base, just try to hold it in place. I did have one that I have a piece of rebar, and if you drive down in front of Rural Glen just before Evergreen, it's still in the ground. I forgot it. Now it's been there for what, 2 years? The fence has been down. And I get a kick, I ride by all the time, I go, all right, they left that there, but they've taken out my others that I used, the old flags, sticks, for when I'm
Yeah,
marking
flag-
out the graves and stuff.
Flags
Um,
and sticks, yeah.
For
They-
Jeff, I use those. I don't like leaving my 1.5 spikes because those have disappeared. But I put longer poles in, like I've got 5 stones that for foundations I've got to mark out. For family monuments and Empire Granite, that I gotta make them fairly high. I gotta put their names on who's what. There's different ones coming down and they're in different places, so. But anyways, it's, I don't know what else to do. Word of mouth doesn't do anything. Sometimes I do forget I'm just a cemetery commissioner. I'm not the boss.
But at the same
And I have
time,
said
you're the
things-
one that catches heat when they screw
Well,
up.
my numbers on there was much easier because I wouldn't get in to get the phone messages when people would leave messages. So I just said, use my phone, put my number online, I don't care.
So you want to write a letter that just like, makes them aware of the problem, or request?
Want to
Something?
request, it's not a big thing, mow all the cemeteries on number 3. That's the number to, you adjust it, it stays there. Don't care about they want to trim the common down to next to nothing of grass, but they continually do it with the cemeteries.
And they're all, what, the machines they use all,
They all,
Would be
they have
setting
the same
3.
adjustment.
other,
Yep, it's the same adjustment.
Okay, that sounds completely reasonable.
Like, you don't know, I've been a stick in the mud and hoping they didn't realize it sometimes. I've been down in the barn. What? They're on 3, not on 2.
I will
it's-
consider those stones that are sticking up to be at risk now, so they're much higher on the priority to get them back flush to the
Either
surface.
flush or at least we'll try to, head it out and put a marker there. They have to go around it because they can't keep going over them. I mean,
is there a lot of them? I mean, do you have any idea?
There are hundreds,
I have
at least.
Hundreds
there's probably 100.
that are raised too high?
Do they hit them?
That I'm not sure about. I was just talking about that style of
Flat.
stone.
The flat grade marker.
Yeah. I mean, we had mower decks that are called mulching contraptions that they put into them because they were afraid to put the grass all over the stones. Okay, I understand that. How about don't hit the flat ones when they're sticking up? It's not like they're in high grass and you can't see it.
Right. Do they weed whack anymore, or no? They just mow?
Weed whacking goes probably every other week. We're one of the guys. They have 2 guys, and
They both mow?
they both mow. Do they weed whack? Well, I'm sure they do, but I've given up on checking up on them. I haven't had any complaints about weed whacking. I've had some complaints on bushes, so I took the hedge clippers down and trimmed their bushes. So
And the complaints that you got, was they any particular cemetery?
Brookside is one, Rural Glen is the other.
Okay.
One was unsure, but I haven't even checked out.
Oh, they didn't even know which cemetery it was.
Well, I think it was either Royal Glen or 2. I know one definitely is Brookside.
Yeah. Brookside has the most of those.
Yeah, well, they come on up and down, so. None of them have been hit of the military markers that I put in.
Good.
So
Well,
figure.
those stick up though. You
Who?
know.
Military markers?
Don't they?
No.
Okay.
They're
Oh, those
buried,
are flat,
they're
too?
buried flush, and if they go down a little bit, so be it, but better than coming back up. If you don't set them right, I mean, I only set them with maybe 3 to 4 inches of stone dust compacted, put them in, and they sit flat, they stay flat, and it's what works. So, I mean, I don't need a big foundation. I mean, some of these, the one that's up near the garage in Brookside, I forgot what the year was, I didn't write it down. But it's almost at the corner. Never mind that stone at the corner, there's a hunk of marble, so people will stay off of driving, somebody had put in years ago. I think it's almost flush with the grass now because they've clipped it so many times with the mower. So, good for the mowers.
Never tried to mulch marble before.
No. No. So, I really would like to get a letter drafted. I think it
Okay.
warrants, not going to a town meeting,
No.
not the town meeting, Board of Selectmen meeting, and then address it with Nate being there, the town administrator. and have to go. Just send a letter to both of them, then they can talk amongst each other. Because Nate is pretty good on following through, talking with Travis. Travis generally gets what he needs, what he wants, but I haven't been a baby about it to say, hey, Nate,
You're not a nagger?
this is what other people do.
Nag?
No, they send formal
Oh,
letters.
okay, yeah. Well, you should have it in writing. So you want me to draft that up and email it to you? And you
Sure, then we can.
Want me to email to everybody?
Sure,
Yes, please.
yep. And then we'll send it to them. I mean, I've got a lot of patience, but when I'm getting the calls at home, and one guy was very, very, what are you gonna do about it? I haven't even called him back because it was 2 weeks ago. And I knew we were having this meeting, so it was like, well, I can't, I'll do it best I can. Well, what's that? It's like, whatever. So, moving on from that. Is there any other discussion on stones? Do you need anything? Do you need any materials?
I
He
am
is still open
out
for
of
business, I know.
Enzymatic cleaner. I can order some more of that and just bring in the.
Bring in the
cost
receipt.
sheet. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get that on so that it's approved for you to get it. Hey, what are you doing? Nothing?
Meeting.
You all done?
No, I'm here till 7.
Oh,
And that cleans off the stones?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a specific
safely.
kind of thing that does the minimal amount of damage to the stones. It's more expensive than a lot of the cheaper cleaners that I could buy around here, but for
But it works
preserving
better.
the stones, it's the only thing.
it works better. I think it's easier to use than some of the other stuff that they say.
It
It's-
activates with rainwater. You just spray it down, and then the first time it rains, the next day they're fully white.
It takes weeks for it to actually fully do its thing. I was watching Clark driving past it after I sprayed everything down, and at this point, the stones were all quite white, and they were black as old fry pans when I started. So,
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
but I
it's-
used almost a gallon in Clark,
Yeah.
which
it's-
is not a large cemetery.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is not cheap, but it is what is approved. It is what is like preservation approved.
Yeah, but nothing's been touched for how many years? So that's
Yeah.
pretty, to me, that's pretty good. Knowing what we went through, scrubbing some stuff up at Warren.
Scrape it off like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do we have any money? It's not July yet, right? No.
It's not the end of the month.
It's not the end of the month. It's a new year. Do we have money left from?
I think so. By the time we have the next meeting, we'll have money.
Fair.
Well, that's the thing. That's, I mean,
Yeah,
you're
so-
spending it now. You gotta make sure there's money in there. I don't know what the budget is, so.
That can be done one of two ways. So a larger cemetery that gets used, like the three, I call them the three major cemeteries, unfair of me, but Brookside, Rural Glen, Evergreen, they have more money than everybody else, individually. So that money can come out of the trust.
Okay.
Because of purposely any money that's gone in there, to my knowledge, I don't remember that since it's just been the three of us, or even when Pam was here, we did not vote to put any of the money of the interest into the principal. That was what I fought with Ernie all the time. He wanted it right away, you're gonna vote, put it into the principal, so it would earn interest. He didn't get that the interest is earning interest. It's in the account, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, if I haven't explained that to us individuals before, it's one of the, if we don't have the money in the interest of each cemetery, we don't have any money to spend, except for what goes in the budget. And our budget's very, very low to begin with. We have a maintenance budget for the equipment. And that goes to DPW. It's still under our heading. The money's gone every year because blades or fixing or whatever. So,
So if you buy some of that cleaner, it should come out of that cemetery's trust?
That's what we're gonna have to see, because if it's coming out for a cemetery similar, we'll have to get the current
The new budget?
sheet for the trusts for all the cemeteries. It does tell us our principals and the interest, and then we'll know.
Okay.
Because we can't take, I tried already to combine, wanted to combine, I thought we could combine all the trusts, remember, into one.
Yeah, because everybody
Because
that
like
bought a stone paid some in for
Well, we-
perpetual care.
Greenwood doesn't have a lot of money. Lovewell doesn't have a lot of money. I'm not sure Warren has a lot of money. Because what little money was turned over,
Some of the
Doesn't
older
there-
ones don't
doesn't-
have anything.
Yeah, you haven't,
What
no
about
one's
the
bought any
newest one?
I'm
lots.
trying to think of the one down on
They're closed.
The
60.
one that we just got, all the leaning slate stones,
Parish.
Parish, is that going to have any budget at all? I mean, I don't need to use a lot of enzymatic cleaner because slate.
Slate, yeah.
But I'm just curious
It's just
if I do need to do
rock
anything there.
is
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, and I don't have any of last year's,
So this,
couple years' papers.
yeah, this, what's this?
So that would
The
be
most,
current, probably 2023.
this is 2020.
Oh, 2020.
What's this,
okay.
2019, so, but just to give you an idea, I mean, like Evergreen has 21,000, Clark has 1,500,
Right.
you know, so they're widely varied. Rural Glen's got a lot,
Are there any
Brookside's
that,
got a lot.
are there any that don't have anything?
Lovewell has $600 at this point, in 5 years ago, so I don't mean.
So it's just $600 what it's earned in interest. That would
500, this
be
is.
the increase, basically.
They all have something, but they, you know, some don't have much.
Right. So then the other thing is
But I can
what
ask-
other money we may have in the summer, in what the town gives us for a budget. I wanted to
No.
say that.
Years ago, I asked about the possibility of a fundraiser, and you said that no, that's not a good idea because
I thought I was shut down from legal standpoint.
Yeah, you can't raise money
We can't
unless you have a
raise-
friends group. If you have a friends group, you can raise money. The
Okay.
friends can raise money for you, for the
yeah,
commission.
I was looking into that, doing like a Friends of Homeless and Cemeteries. What's the legal situation with if they raise money, then what? Then
Well,
it's
they
their
have to
money?
be,
50C3.
Yeah, they'd have to be a
Oh, they'd have to be a
501c3.
501c3.
Yeah.
That's a giant pain in the ass.
yeah, and that's not a quick process either. I mean, you know, it's gonna
No,
take
I
you.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't,
Should we do it legal? Yes. After what I went through over with the PTO
yeah.
at
just-
Center School, and that was not an easy process. But
This is
anyways,
too bad.
Yeah. But the trust, you should be able to use the trust funds, I mean,
yeah,
because,
as long, you can't touch the principal, but as long as there's enough of an interest,
well, how do you know what the principal is?
on there,
And they give you a sheet that
Yes.
tells? Okay.
yeah, that should be able to come from
This is not.
either
that-
Mary, her
Or whoever the
assistant,
new accountant
or
is.
who the new accountant is. They have a running sheet.
Okay.
I don't even know if it's monthly, but I know that it's,
You could probably print it out on demand.
well, that's what Marcia used to get it printed out. but we
Yeah.
haven't had it, so it's been requested, so.
Okay, well, I can do that.
All right. Anyway,
All right, so, signs and signage.
so yeah, I made the sign for Evergreen and it fell apart. I don't know what I did wrong. I did the one for Lovewell the same way, and it's great. It's
Yeah, they love that. They think it's pretty close to what was already there.
plus like a
Good.
little heart. And, yeah.
Told me to rip the posts out because they didn't want me rebuilding the gate that I got some wood for to do. And they said, no, we want it out, which worked in Jeff's favor.
Yeah, because he can get his
He can
his
get a
equipment
small
in there.
machine in there. However, we weren't able to perform the burial in the beginning of May because 18 inches of water, 18 inches down, he hit water. So the
Mhm.
person's still not buried for
Mm.
burial. We're shooting for July 12th.
Dry.
Hopefully it's dry, but when Jeff kept digging because he wanted to see, maybe there's ledge underneath there or something. Well, might as well have been just as bad, it's clay. So clay isn't porous, it doesn't, so it's all gonna dissipate. So we're hoping with this weather, it's gonna go good. But they're aware, the funeral home's aware, and the family is aware. They will pay Jeff if he goes in and it's not like 3 inches of water. We can deal with that.
But not 18.
Nothing else, because it'll float.
Yeah.
Never mind float, it'll saturate the concrete vault.
Yeah. Anyway, I gotta redo everything and figure out what I did wrong and redo it.
If that's what you want to do. If,
And do Clark.
because I said that the 3 big ones, which I shouldn't say, Brookside, Road Glen, and
Yeah, yeah.
Evergreen, we have the funds
Okay, maybe for
to have
Evergreen,
some made.
maybe for them it might be worth it to get them made.
I've had pros and cons. I've had a lot of people that have when I've met, they've mentioned that the signs, oh, they need some touch up. I says, well, I'd like to have them made similar to the town. Those are nice. The guy etched them. I don't know what it costs. I do have his name, and I can't just go there and get. I'm supposed to get approval to go get everything is approval, and I tend to forget.
With
So-
the places that have a budget, that's an option. With the places that don't, we may just have to
Kind of
do
make
what
our
we've
own.
been doing.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try
Have a painting party or something. Do some work on it.
Yeah. Have a painting party.
If we could find someone that, I don't know if we want any of them routed letters or how fancy we want to go. We
I
don't,
think
we don't
just
want the
paint is
stick-on
fine.
letters, that's what
No,
we
no,
had
that
at
was
Lovewell.
really tacky.
But Evergreen
And they
was
fall
good
off.
at the beginning,
Yeah.
and then everything just,
I'm really disappointed with my work that I made what I thought was a really beautiful sign for Evergreen, and it just disintegrated, sadly. But Lovewell seems to be doing fine. So I think what I want to do is do Clark's and see
Okay.
see how that goes. And if that one does well, then I'll tackle Evergreen again. Or I'll say, you know what? Let's just get Evergreen printed metal. I know it doesn't match the rest, but by fall I'll have a decision on that.
okay.
All right. Okay. What's next?
Check around, make sure the mark is, okay, well, I have a list, I'm gonna make sure that we get it to the show. Okay, so, for the 3 cemeteries, Brookside, Road Glen, and Evergreen, I wanna get approval, I don't have a price. I gotta give them the numbers, whoever I purchase it from, could be Obashan, but lime and fertilizer. Right now, end up being a fall fertilizer for all 3 cemeteries, they need it. We got some bugs. Bugs don't like the lime. Lime helps really rejuvenate stuff.
Yep. Okay. What do we need to do?
So, I'd like to get that priced out, and then we can agree to have it purchased, and then I'll.
Okay.
have
Can we
a
look
nice-
up online how much it is?
Hmm?
Can we just look up and see how much it costs? I mean, it might not be exact to the penny.
Where do you usually pick it up?
Budgetary.
I used to get it at Agway, but Agway sold up in Gardner.
Mhm.
Good Earth or something?
Good
like-
Earth, yeah.
Even Home
But they
Depot.
still sell. Yeah, we can get it anywhere. I mean, we can get it for, well, the
Do
advantage
you
of
know
getting
how
the
much
whole
you're gonna
roof-
need?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know how much.
I don't either.
I have to
Well,
do
let's say on the
measure.
bag, like how much it covers, so you know, like how,
3,000 square feet,
a few thousand,
2,000
3,000.
three?
for the big one, to about a 25-pound bag.
25-pound bag.
We
of
have
each.
equipment sitting in the shed up there, believe it or not. I have a, what do they call it, one of those kind perforates the ground.
Mhm.
It's like brand new. I don't think they ever used it.
Okay, so
before.
like a 25-pound bag of fertilizer and a 25-pound bag of lime. I'd say just check Home Depot and probably cheapest for that.
Then we gotta go pick it up. The other places to deliver.
True.
Do you go buy one in
He's
Worcester?
got a truck.
Yeah, that gets 11 miles to
You
the
go
gallon.
buy one
True.
in Worcester? In your other job?
Yeah, well, I can throw it in the back seat of the
Okay, the other place is deliver then, all right.
clown car I drive to pick up students. Oh my God, did I take the shit out of the trunk? Stupid clown car. Oh no. I got some veteran marker posts. Oh, they're in the back seat. Well, I can go up there because the thing is, they came and took it back to Brookfields. I just
What
dropped
kind
it
of
off.
fertilizer are you getting?
A winter mix that actually should be called a spring mix because it does, that's when it starts to rejuvenate everything, when the ground starts to thaw and everything.
Mhm.
Because it's too late now. They say, yeah, you can put it on, you just don't put it on heavy and everything, but I've never seen, personally, I never had luck doing it. Now, if you miss spring, putting it in for the spring, then you kind of have to wait, you're stuck.
All right.
They call it a fall mix, like I said, they should call it a spring mix, but
They don't make it easy.
it's been a busy 2025. It has gotten easier for burials, because they only have urns, mostly urns that people have to hold on
More
to.
people are getting cremated.
But I had, 1, 3, 4. There were full burials that had to go.
Well, while she's looking up prices, we talked about burials.
Yeah, I just run a list of what I've had. Let's see. I get some calls on genealogy, some I do in between looking for people. I mentioned Lovewell. That's an Ed Freeman, related to Lovewell's. He's the one that we're waiting to bury. That's a full. The family told me that their aunt, who, she's a Freeman one, but she's a relative, and there's a spot for her in the same area. It'll be a full burial.
I just did the biggest stone
Jeff?
in the Lovewell Cemetery. That was kind of the heaviest thing I've moved with that tool.
Oh, is that right? Well, they've been told Jeff will not go in there anymore, even though he can get the small one excavated, because it's a cemetery I have to watch. There may be some wooden, and I'm sure they are, wooden caskets in there, and the ground is starting to
Yeah, you can see.
settle, and he doesn't want to drive up into the back where there's some, so he's told them they either need to do cremation or they're gonna have to get somebody else to do it. He said, I don't have that.
Is there
kind of
anyone else to do
insurance."
it?
Hmm?
Is there anyone else to do it? He's the town grave. If he's gonna have trouble, somebody else is gonna have trouble too.
6 years ago, about 6 or 7 years ago, Jeff refused to go with somebody that was buried toward the back. Jeff wouldn't do it.
Because he was just too worried about driving over.
So they had-
caskets.
He couldn't get his big machine in without taking the stone wall down, which he's done once before,
Mhm.
since. And just, this is the price you're gonna pay. He's gonna take those out, he takes a picture. And they weren't real thrilled that the stones got put back in the exact spot. So we were
Why?
glad to find that it goes right through the front for what we have to do now. But it's still a lot of money, because he can't get the dirt out.
Mhm.
It's hard to get it over the wall into his truck. He's not one to pile the dirt up next. He likes everything nice and neat.
Yeah, Jeff is great.
So like I said, they were aware that if he hits water and that vault can't go in.
So there's a 30-pound bag of fast-acting lime,
Yep.
$25 at Home Depot. That says it covers 5,000 square feet. So that at least gives you an idea.
And I can make it to one of the Home Depots. I go there. I go to the Leominster one regularly, so
Yeah, this is in one.
Right.
we're doing a lot of home renovations.
How much was that, did you say, babe?
$24.97. Did you just call me back? Did you just call me back? I wouldn't be surprised if you called me now. 30-pound bag, $24.97.
Okay, it's lime.
Yeah, and then what, you wanted fertilizer?
Yeah.
Of like what type?
Lawn fertilizer, presumably, if they have that category.
Lawn fertilizer.
50 pounds, 24,011. We had 10, 10, 10. Scott's Turf Builder, 1,200 square feet is $25. 4,000 square feet. Winter Guard, is that what you're talking about?
Yep.
Winter guard.
25.37
For how much?
for a 4,000 square foot coverage. It's a
Okay.
10-pound bag.
Okay.
That's good.
Scott's Turf Builder.
If you, Home Depot, you can pay online,
Yeah.
and if you can, like, if you wanna, like, get the funds released, buy it online, and then I'll go pick it up, because I'm over there all
All right.
I'll go to the Leominster or the Gold Star Boulevard in Western One. We drive by it all the time, both of those, and we go there.
Okay.
So I can provide transport. I've got a Subaru station wagon.
I can,
The small, 30-pound bag is like,
Yeah, I can stick it in the wagon station.
I can talk to the town at one point when they were doing 48 Gardner Road. I had a credit card from them, it was theirs. I wanna make sure that,
probably have to wait till after July 1st.
right,
So if you can figure out the
I wouldn't
monetary,
get that.
that's fine. If you figure out the money and make the order, I'll go pick it up. And bring it to the, bring it to Brookside's shack.
yes, it'll all go down there, and it'll have to be distinguished about who road one's the bigger. So they'll have the most, make sure that it goes to the right thing, so we're not getting a jam with anybody going, yeah.
Or why don't you just buy one bag and write
Yeah, yeah.
the name of the cemetery on it or something? Just have it.
I know. this
Get
is-
3 small bags to one big bag or something.
Okay, so that takes
Alright.
care of that.
Is there anything else we need to know about burials and lot sales right now?
Alright, so.
Do we need to vote on that, or do we just say we all agree? You
Do we all agree?
We all agree.
I don't know what you normally do.
So we had a, let's see
We
if
had
it's-
Latown,
Charlie Latown.
Charlie Latown.
He was just buried recently. He was in, Evergreen. I found out why he had 2 lots, because half of the lot and one was half in the woods.
oh,
But he's been laid to rest. Mark Allen, was April 5th. Peter Alto, Bernie Newcomb's mom, Charles Town. Linda Clark today down in Parish Cemetery.
it had to be a parish, really?
No, Parish, I'm sorry. Pine, I want to say
Grove.
Pine Acres, Pine Grove.
Linda Clark?
Linda Clark. Yep. Quite the story behind that, because it seemed like Boucher was getting loaded with burials. So he was going through the list because we had Catalati. Yeah, that was being buried, and he says, "Oh, while I have you on the phone, I don't have any other information because they've like to deal with emails. So we haven't met, we haven't talked, but it's a Linda Clark. If you could find where Linda Clark's going and get ahead of the game, it will be a cremation," he said. Come to find out it was Charlie Clark's, a relative to Charlie Clark's. I Googled her name, and it came up with Leonard Clark. I don't know
Oh,
if
yeah.
you, does that ring a bell?
Leonard Clark? Well, there's a zillion Clarks.
It's almost across the street from Pine Grove Cemetery. And yeah, and he died, what the hell year did he, 2002? He was 65, he was relatively young. He fought cancer, I guess, for quite a while. But anyways, his name popped up, this whole thing, buried in there, and it mentioned his wife Linda. I go, well, go down to Charlie Clark Cemetery, and I did. And they were all laid out with their footstones. There's Leonard's, there's Linda's, there's Charlie's. Yep. So I
That's where
says, wow, that was
Charlie
one of the easiest ones, because it's right next to Jeff's anyways, right?
Yeah.
And Jeff came walking over, he goes, did you find anybody you know? He says, this is the easiest one I ever found, Jeff. Because I had said something to Jeff, and he kept going, I know that name, I know that name. Right across the street from him, did work for him, but it never crossed his mind until I said, she was married to Leonard Clark. Said that he was on Barry Road. He goes, that was his house. He mentioned her maiden name. I don't know. Anyway, so we did find her. She was buried today. Okay. Have another burial that will be up on July 12th. I'll have two on July 12th. It's Ed Freeman up at Lovewell. They're shooting for the 12th. And what's that? The other name. Alden Adams, did I mention him? He's buried down in
He's
Evergreen.
already buried, right?
Evergreen,
Already
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I used to get them mixed up, Alden Adams and Mark Allen.
And Catalati.
Catalati's down there. Peter Alto he's also down there, down in Evergreen. Capuccio was Richard Mahoney, who's a son-in-law to the Capuccios. But I got a whole map of where all the rest of them are gonna be buried in the family. Because that was something to figure out too.
Was he cremated?
Hmm?
Was he cremated? Mahoney? I mean, is there room?
Huh.
As long as there's room.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. I had to stop and think, because I've had a couple, and I was trying to remember who they were. Oh, and Westland.
Bruce.
Bruce died,
Yeah.
which, you've got to know the story behind Bruce. It started when Ernie was still on the commission. I didn't tell Ernie the whole layout of the cemeteries are wrong in his area. Is what everybody should be going on. He had a map, and he got me one day in that little house. Oh my God! I says, listen, I can't go buy your stuff. I got markings, I got posts, and whatever they've laid out, we're not moving anybody. So your area's right. that's great. Give me your map, and we'll use it for all your people in the area, because he's got quite a bit of space. And I'll make sure that you get buried in the right spot. I never expected that Jeff says, hey, Bruce Westland died. He says, oh, I know right where he's going, don't worry about it. So he made it a point. Well, I have 3 families for purchasing lots. Oh, I have one more burial, for a name. That's, on the July 12th is Peggy Dandridge. She's related to the Stetson, Debbie Stetson.
But they already have a lot.
Yes, headstone and everything. Yep.
So you got new lots? That they're buying new lots, or they
No, I have 3 people that are gonna be buying, that
want
I have to
lots?
go down. Huh?
That want lots?
Yes.
Okay.
You want their names?
Sure.
Jodi, Jody. Diliberto.
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 Barbara Carpenter.
Mhm.
And a Deborah Sampson. Somebody else.
So you're working on those?
Yes.
I thought Barbara Carpenter already had lots. No?
No. No, they were good friends with Dennis. They live up on Gardner Road.
Yeah.
When did she grab me?
Okay.
Oh, voting day. In the afternoon she came in. I need to talk to you. I get scared when people say, I need to talk to you.
How sick are you?
Oh, and we have, this is an important one. To me it is, because I knew him fairly well, and that was, I don't know if I was in. What do you think? Richard
Hackett.
Hackett. Richard Hackett died. I don't know if you know who Richard Hackett was. He was a senior center, always there, going for walks all the time when they could with the seniors. I didn't even know where he lived. I knew he used to walk down somewhere in the vicinity of 48 Gardner Road, which is our new headquarters up there, right? But we had an ongoing joke, because he said, hey, and this started a few years ago, hey, how much the cemetery plot's going for? I should purchase one. I said, oh, you're not feeling good? No, I should plan ahead. I don't want to get stuck up. I don't want family putting me in Watertown where the family has lots and everything. Anyways, long story short,
Planning ahead is good.
this was going on and on and on for a long time. So if he didn't get to me first when I walked in over here, I got to him and I'd say, so Richard, you ready? Prices are holding steady on the lots. It's still $250. I'm feeling pretty good and everything else. And I'll be at the end of a good month, maybe a little bit less. As we were talking, I was having coffee. And I says to him, hey, so you ready yet or what? He goes, well, yeah, kind of, but he goes, well, what if something happened to me? What would you do? I says, well, Mel Shaughnessy has 2 extra lots because she didn't want anybody she didn't know buried next to her. And that's God's honest truth. She bought 2 extra lots so people wouldn't be buried next to her. Sorry, Mel. I said, so I'll stick you in one of those. It'll cost you, there'll be no fee, right? And don't I hear on the radio, I have a scanner and I hear the scanner. Sure.
So what are you gonna do with it?
Right. Well, this is the thing. So, we have in this town something to the effect, I don't know the complete wording, that if someone didn't have enough money to pay for a plot, that the town would furnish a plot for somebody to be buried in and able to be marked, not be called a pauper's grave. But then I have since found out, and I haven't talked to Claudia further, but I did tell Claudia because she had asked me and I didn't know what Richard had or any of his background. So she says, what can we do? What can we do? What can the cemetery do? I said, well, and I told her that we have it. So push came to shove, we'd have a place to put it. I don't know if it's a donated thing, I don't know if there's a fund for it or whatever, but Ernie had told me this a few years back. So, since then, because I met with he had 2 cousins and they lived in New York and Wisconsin. And they were here briefly, unbeknownst to me. And then all of a sudden he has a niece that lives in Ashby. Anyways, I met her up, would you meet her? And I said, sure. I met her up down and everything else. And then this is when I found out that he owns a house. He's got 2 vehicles sitting there. Denise said, yeah, my husband said one of them's pretty good. We can probably get it up and running and sell it. Well, that doesn't negate that it doesn't have money, or it doesn't have some kind of funds.
If they can sell it, they can certainly scrape $250 out of that.
What did he, Richard wasn't, Claudia even told me, he was a hoarder, basically. And he wasn't one understanding that we talked about, at least for the last 6 years, about purchasing a grave. You know, it was kidding that the price hasn't gone up, but they're not going on sale, Richard, they're not gonna get any cheaper. And it was just an ongoing job. So I don't know, I have not heard from his niece, but if he didn't have plans in place, like a will, it's in probate. Probate can last
Years.
a long time,
Yeah.
sometimes, I don't know. But, so until that happens, and I believe he was cremated already anyways, or going to be. She was looking for funds for that. I said, I have nothing to do with that. So, if the time comes, I'll definitely call everybody and we'll have a discussion, but we can talk about it right now, I guess. Any other matter not reasonably anticipated, that if his niece wants to lay him to rest, we'll furnish a spot of our choosing in Evergreen. And we can make out a deed, he can make payments on it. Or stipulation of when the funds to come available can be paid for. Like I said, there's a house that can be sold. Claudia said it's a nice little house. Yeah, he hasn't done anything, but
The real estate market is amazing.
I've seen what they've done with
That's
some houses. So, if you're kind of all in agreement with what I said about Richard,
That's fair. That's fair.
that
We
we
need
could
to,
lay him to rest, furnish a plot down in Evergreen, gonna stick them in the woods.
What about a stone
A marker,
marker?
I think after they sell the house,
They should,
I believe he owned it fully outright. There was no lien on it whatsoever. So, it's just down the road on Root Road, which I didn't realize. how
It's
close
in
it
Ragged
was.
Hill, yeah.
Ragged Hill, I'm sorry, yeah.
so,
But,
So, did you talk to the niece about the fact that it would cost her something to bury him?
what I
or-
just said, no.
Yeah,
No, because I talked about that after she had left, when I was talking to Claudia,
Okay.
that's when I found out about the house. No, I found out that he had a car, he had 2 cars. And then I asked Claudia, what's going on with that?
I mean, the house is gonna be worth something, even if it's a mess, it's,
Something. Yeah,
especially like you said, the market is crazy.
I mean, it's like 4 houses down on Ragged Hill on the left. I had to find it. It needs some real serious cleanup. He was not an outdoorsman to trim his hedges and such.
Now, his whole yard is full of stuff, and
And
I'm
I-
sure the house looks the same.
I had to back up and look at him. Is there a house in there?
Yeah.
What I saw was the 2 cars that were there. But, no, I have not talked to her about this.
well, maybe
But-
we should talk to her first before we make
Okay,
a decision.
sure.
Just to see if she must have anything to do with this, or
I mean, it's not really, I mean, there's probably a lot of people who, I mean, he's got relatives, it's not like he doesn't have any relatives.
Well, at first he had no relatives.
Yeah. And I'm sure if you took up a collection in the senior center, you'd get
We could
some
get
money too,
Right.
you know?
right, then, okay, I mean, I'd be down with putting it in the ground and figure out how to get the money. Let it either come from,
Like I said, she was supposed to get back to me, but maybe
but
she's
at least let her know. But it's
since
just-
wanted to talk to Claudia first, because Claudia is pretty easy on getting information and talking to it, not making somebody feel uncomfortable about it.
Right. Fair.
So,
But you don't, but then again, you don't want to set a precedent for anybody who
doesn't have any money.
doesn't
Well,
have money,
No,
quote
well,
unquote.
right, but I mean, if there's a house to be sold,
Right,
that doesn't negate somebody having to pay for the property. I mean, okay, it's $250, but we're the cheapest in the land.
no kidding, it's not a lot
So-
of money. It's not like a, I don't know, like you said, cremation is,
Cremation is minimum of about 1,500. I did talk to Boucher about this, because I had a funeral going on that was coming up, and I just said, hey, so how do you go about with a cremation? So he said, you generally have to go through a funeral home.
yeah,
You just can't
can't just show up at a crematory.
with a body.
Body.
You can't, actually. You can't if you fill
If you
out-
have a,
You fill,
burial
there was
permit.
paperwork for that. There
Yeah.
was paperwork that you could.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
well, if you
Show
have,
up
if
with
you
a
have
body
a
without
burial
the paperwork,
permit.
questions
Yeah,
will be
my-
asked.
My church does home funerals and doesn't use funeral homes, so yeah, there's the permit to move the body.
Yeah, as long as you have a
that
burial
Get from
permit.
the ME's office.
Yeah.
And
Well, I knew that you don't have to have a funeral at all.
no, you don't have to
No.
funeral, you don't have to do a funeral home.
You don't have to be embalmed,
You don't have to do
No.
anything like
So-
that. You can, yeah.
I also heard that you can go the whole route. Have a funeral, you can be having your loved one laying there, and everybody looks at him and say, hey, he looks great.
One of these days, I'm
They don't.
gonna get the Cemetery Commission and the Board of Health together in the same room with somebody, with an expert to talk about green burial and how to get it put together in this town. That's a future thing though.
Been asked that question.
We had one of those, Dottie Athens was a green burial.
Who was?
Dottie Athens,
She was.
yeah.
Oh, we're up at,
I don't know where she was buried, was she
Well,
buried
her
in
stone
town?
is in, her stone is down in Evergreen with
Was she created? Okay, I didn't realize she created
Was it
it.
Athens
I know
and
some
Martin?
people have said that they like to do it on their own land, and it's a matter of the land has to be checked with EPA and all this sort of thing. But it's,
Yeah, that's a whole different.
Yeah.
thing.
A
yeah.
full burial or a burial of even a cremation is not allowed. Because we had, remember that family that was in town and she was driving, one
Oh,
of
yeah.
the kids was killed?
No, but he was buried there.
Was he buried at the house?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the
Yeah, special.
Paul?
Yeah, Paul was
Paul Flynn
there.
and his family. Yeah. Paul Flynn. Yeah, we know
They
that.
still live in town?
I think they moved. I don't know what they did with the kids' ashes. I mean, that would be the thing, you know.
Oddly enough, it adds to real estate value. People think it's cool to have a burial
Oh,
site
really?
on the land on the house, the yard. Yeah.
Well, John Prentice did it. Didn't he do it when you were on the commission?
Yeah. I'm gonna do it.
You can get a plot of land designated as a burial site
Yes, you can.
on your own property.
Yeah.
Because John Prentice did it not too long ago.
And that was,
And I think you have to go through the Board of Health.
Mhm.
And
doesn't matter what type of burial you have? No, it's green.
that I don't know. He's still alive.
Green is you do trees and everything else.
Yeah,
Isn't
green.
John the
burial.
doctor?
No, that's his son.
Anyway,
John's the assessor.
anyway, this is all.
Yeah.
This is all.
Anyway, it's all doable.
So this
Sure.
is to plant the tree and you use the ashes around it and everything. You're talking
Green
green.
burials.
No, green
you
burials-
You put them in a wooden coffin and you put them in the ground with no embalming.
Yeah.
And that's that. And then
just
they go
get
back to the
eaten
earth.
up.
They actually have. They've come out with like basically a shroud you can wrap
Shrink wrap.
the corpse in that is impregnated with mushroom spores.
Yeah.
That just like turns
Like
it.
compost your,
It composts
quickly.
faster than a year. Bam.
yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah. They come out with all kinds of stuff.
Nice.
And it adds no pollution. I'm planning, you see.
Gonna lock that back door.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anyway, this is all future stuff. Any other matters not reasonably
Yeah, back to
anticipated?
Richard Hackett. You're gonna talk to Denise?
Yeah, I'll talk to Denise.
And I'm down with it if she's down with it. You know, unless she has objections.
Well, you should just, figure out how much it's gonna be approximately
Yeah,
to give her that amount.
I mean, and a stone.
Well, it's $250 for a,
250 for a plot. A stone
$250 for a plot.
ranges from cheap to ridiculous, depending on. There's a huge variation in stones depending
Yeah.
on exactly what you want to
But
get.
then you gotta do the cremation, right?
Well, the
Or is it gonna
cremation.
be-
oh, the cremation wasn't
is-
on my,
the commission is
No,
not,
I know.
not
Talk
our
with them.
problem, though.
It does make for a smaller excavation.
Well, it's
Does it?
$650 for,
for a full
Full
burial.
burial.
It's $200 for a
250 for the cremation.
cremation.
so the 250 is just for the lot.
250 is just for the plot, yeah.
And then
It's 200
grave
for the
opening.
opening.
it's 200 or 650 for a full.
Right.
So she should just know that.
Yeah.
Act now.
Unless
Where
you're
the
planning to
prices
just
go up.
keep them on the mantelpiece, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Some people do. Some people
Still
don't.
have my dad in the closet.
My son-in-law's got his dad on a shelf with his dad's ashes on a shelf with a photo.
Okay.
Yeah, my brother's in the closet.
You know?
But, who was Al? Adams is the big red house on the hill. So it was that, Al, Mark Allen. His wife had died and I never knew her. She was in a,
Where did he live?
off the top of my head, I don't know. He used to visit the cemetery when I was down there often.
So,
And he had a pretty good-sized headstone.
so I'd like to throw up one other thing. It's kind of off the beaten path.
Sure.
But both David and I have made the error of not realizing when we need to go get signatures again. Is there any way that a like 1 month in advance warning could be set up and an email could be sent out?
I believe that'll be happening
Okay,
with the
I-
new
Okay.
town clerk.
Okay, so it's never happened before, and yes,
No,
I should
we've
check.
had-
I should continually check, and I should.
We've had town clerks change, I believe.
Are you talking about nomination papers?
Yes.
Yeah, because we get to do it every 2 years. Yeah,
3 years.
3 years. Yeah, we both screwed up the last time, and
Yeah, Paul
and
screwed
we're-
up this
I
time.
screwed
and
up
we're
this
like
time.
like barely in, and it's like, is there any way to get warning, get like a month's
Yes.
warning?
We can
So-
cover.
Yeah, you
do
should
that
get a
again.
month's warning.
I've never been.
We can
Very
cover for each
warning.
other, but yes, the town clerk usually has always in the past sent it out, but in the past 6 years, I'll say, almost since you left, except for
That's
Laurie
6
was.
years.
Huh?
That's 6 years.
Laurie
I've
was.
never gotten.
Laurie was after
Really?
you.
No.
Yeah, Lori was after me, and then
I wish I
And then
did.
there was multiple ones in between. So, yeah.
this
people
new
left.
town clerk, she's got it going on.
Okay, good.
Yeah, she does.
Because I feel bad because I forget to check, and
Yeah.
Do you
No,
check
you
your
should-
email? Or
oh
you-
yeah, no, I forget to like come down here and say, when is it again? You know,
Oh,
and which is what I would have to do.
I just looked at, I just had the dates, so you can write it
Getting
down.
those signatures is the only part of this job I hate.
Yes, ditto. I hate that part. Everything else is great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy to be on this commission till I can't.
It's
It's
good
like
and
too
important
decrepit.
work, and I like the fact that most of the people I work with are dead. Very cooperative.
And quiet, cooperative. Don't give me any shit. But
right.
getting the damn signatures
complaints.
is a miserable, miserable task. Which
You
we'll
just
do.
go to the senior center one day, and then you go to the diner, and then
Police
you go to the
department, fire
post office, fire department, there you go.
The police department and fire department were both very helpful.
Yeah, but they don't all live in town, so that's a problem.
Mm,
Fire department, maybe. Are you looking up when the terms expire?
Yep,
that'd be nice.
but I had this trouble before. Didn't they
You
just
got till
change?
next June.
They
Actually,
changed the websites?
yeah, new website. So whichever the two of you expires
next.
next, it won't be till like March. The nomination papers will be available, so.
Yeah, somebody will be up to this 2026.
I can look it up and let you know.
That would be wonderful. I mean, if I have it on the calendar, I could probably, I can put a 1 month, like a
Yeah.
month ahead thing on the calendar, but I need to know what it is. I have no idea right now.
Yeah, nobody said anything to me for when David was the last one, I think, that just, right?
Last year?
I think it was the year
We
before,
wrote
I'm
you
not
in.
sure. I would have to double check.
But, yeah, it wasn't Raven's the next one up, I believe.
I think so, because my last minute was a year before your last minute.
So,
Okay.
yeah, mine was no fault of my own.
All right, so I'm gonna draft a letter and send it to you guys for approval or whatever.
Thank you.
I'm gonna get the dollar amounts from the accountant. I'm gonna check on who's expiring next, whose term is expiring next.
It was expiring
Who's
next to
expiring
mine.
next?
And what are we gonna do about the fertilizer? Is someone gonna order that, or? And the cleaner, we're gonna wait till after July 1st.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Moose is gonna order.
Yeah,
You're gonna order the cleaner.
Moose.
You can order the fertilizer, and I'll pick it up.
Okay.
Well, you can order it online at Home Depot and just pay for it online, and I'll just.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
town will pay for it as long as they know that it's going to the cemetery and which ones, because it has to differentiate. So I have to have it broke down.
Sure.
So it'd be like 3 bills.
Or just take one bill and divide it into 3, can you do that?
No, they won't do that.
They won't do that?
Oh, no. Do that with paint. It was almost which room was getting painted. So
When I
let's
get
see.
the list,
Figure it out.
I'll ask about that.
What's that?
How how to get it purchased without having to, if we can possibly use the credit card, or do we have to put in for reimbursement? And then will they do split it in three? I don't see why
Right,
they
because
won't.
of three cemeteries it's
Three
gonna come
cemeteries
out.
that it's going to.
Right, because we're gonna take it out of the interest of each of those three.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Is that everything?
All in all, we don't ask for much for the cemeteries. So
No, not really.
Okay, so I'll do that,
Okay,
and I'll let you know how to order it,
okay.
or if it's okay to order it, or I'll let you know when I find
Yeah,
out
after June,
after July 1st.
yeah, after July 1st,
Which is next
that's
week.
probably when we'll be able to order it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's next
I
week,
wouldn't get
so.
it sooner than that anyways. All right.
okay.
Hey, they were supposed to broadcast this.
I was
Maybe
wondering
they
about
are.
that. There's a camera.
Those are green.
All right, I want to make a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
A second?
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.